I know you've heard a lot of stories about Ghana being scary with regards to real estate, and it is not wrong. But there is a way to make significant amount of money in Ghana if you do figure it out. In investment, there is something known as risk versus reward. And Ghana real estate sector is the perfect example of that because there's a lot of risk in the market. The people who know how to analyze this risk and come out with a genuine property can mark it up by 50%, 100%. There is a lot more to unpack in this video, and I guarantee you that if you watch this video to the very end, you're gonna get some value out of it that you would never regret. So let's dive into it. Let's start with becoming a developer. What does it mean by becoming a developer? Developer means basically you are in charge of a project. Now, it doesn't have to be so big, right? When we talk about developers, you are thinking about somebody on 100-acre land developing. No, you can start very small. So I'm going to use myself as an example, how I wanted to start and what I ended up becoming. Now, becoming a developer doesn't necessarily mean that, you should have become an architect or an engineer. It helps, but you can equally hire people with that skills and you are the brains behind the whole thing. I have a few examples. Shaq Allen, if you guys don't know who Marvin is, he has no experience in architecture or whatever, but he was able to imagine a community close to the river and he willed it into an existence, and he was able to hire the people with expertise that he needed to bring his vision into fruition. Going around looking at a few projects here and there, it's a bit stressful. It's multiple locations. So in the long run, developers actually want to develop their own properties all concentrated where you have eyes on it the whole time. We wanted to start off very small, very modest. It wasn't even a plot. The first plot that we bought was half a plot, and we designed a very beautiful house. And all you need in Ghana to become a developer usually is the land, a little bit of money to start to get a core show, at least the foundation, because a lot of scams in Ghana. It's extremely hard. It's not like you can't, but it's extremely hard to sell something off plan. All you have is the land. You're trying to sell it completely off plan, especially without like crazy reputation. There's a lot of red flags and most people are not going to do it. Now, why do most people sell off plan in Ghana? Off plan means there is no building. You are literally buying a 3D on a property, right? There is the land that you've seen, but there is no building on it. And the developer is trying to sell you this off plan that this is what I'm going to build for you and you're going to pay. Right, they're going to usually put you on a payment plan if nothing has been built, and this is widely used in Ghana. The reason behind this is because getting a loan in Ghana is absolutely not a joke. The interest rate on it is crazy, so you can't make profit. If you are taking a loan with a 20% interest rate on it, how much are you going to charge a client to make money, right? And if you are talking about development, it's long term, right? You're building that thing in 2, 3, 4 years. It's just not profitable. So unless people are coming to Ghana with a foreign investment where they took it for like 5%, 3%, most of the foreigners, that's what they do. But people here have to be smart and creative, hence off-plan sale was born. And the off-plan sale is pretty lucrative for you, the developer. You just have to make sure you get the land, right? So some people go into JV, joint ventures, with somebody with land, but doesn't have the clientele, doesn't have the initial money to start off, just doesn't have the time and the vision for the project. So they will just hand you the land and take a percentage. It's quite normal here in Ghana as well. So that one, you actually don't even need money for the land, right? And there are other creative ways where you can go in and buy the land on credit and pay that person over time, but not everybody gets that. There's multiple ways of going about becoming a developer without a lot of money. Now, the beautiful thing about being a developer and the most critical thing about being a developer is acquiring land in strategic places or places where people want to live. Because you are acquiring land in places where nobody want to live, then you essentially waste your time. And Ghana real estate sector is very lucrative because in America, when you develop a house for somebody, you can mark it up by 10%, 15%. UK, all these places, not much that you can mark it up at. But in Ghana, people mark up buildings from 30% to 150%, right? Yes, some people are very greedy. So it is significantly more lucrative in Ghana being a developer than outside. Another creative way that people go into stuff like this is like these big developments, right? Like the Signature. In there, they have a lot of appliances, like Bosch appliances throughout, because they got into partnership with Bosch. Like, I will pay you over a period of 7 years. I need 250, microwaves. Of course, you're gonna go through with it, right? So they don't pay everything up front. And then they started doing off-plan sales. So they made sure they had the land. They made sure even the contractor that they used had a stake in the game, right? Like, we're gonna give you 3 or 4 units, right? So that's how they pay them. And Arcadian City, what I'm doing right now, we are doing the same thing. We have a few people where we give them land as payment. They are involved, they got skin in the game, and then you pay people as we go, right? My business partner is an architect, but he doesn't have all the knowledge that we need to kick this project off. So we have engineers, we have other people that we pay or whatnot just to bring this thing to fruition. So we have the land and we're doing all the groundwork. We got a master plan. If my business partner wasn't an architect, you have to pay somebody for it, which could be quite expensive. Developing a 30-acre project, the design of that, when it's all said and done, it's about $70,000. So being a developer, this is what you are looking at, right? Land is vital, and then partners or having the money to pay people, right? Off-plan sale, I'm sure you guys got it. Let's say you don't want to become a developer. You are in America or UK, wherever you are, and you do not have any intentions of moving back here, but you do want to do something back home in the real estate space. There are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, land banking and property banking, right? So I'm going to give you examples of land banking and property banking to, help you think about what you can do down here. Well, land is a bit risky, but by knowing your stuff or by knowing the right people like myself, where I sell land, you're not going to encounter any issues. What you could do is you buy plots of land in strategic places, and then you build a wall around it, put a caretaker on there. Most people do that. Or, give it out, rent it out, because you do not want to give it out for somebody to use it without showing that that person is renting from you, even if it's $1 a year or 1 cedi a year. Right? Because the adverse possession rule, after 12 years when somebody's living on your land, without you being able to show that you rented it to them or they work for you. So it's either you pay them salary to take care of the place, or they are paying you to stay there. If you don't do that, you could find yourself in serious trouble after 12 years of them living there. So that's a tip for you. A lot of people do this. They buy the land, they build a little wall around it, they put somebody on there for 10, 15 years, and the land is worth a lot of money. So you could do that in multiple places, right? You work hard, at the end of the year, you could choose to buy 2 plots per year, 1 plot per year, in a matter of 10 years. But getting rich in Ghana is extremely easy so long as you have the patience, right? A lot of people don't have patience. We all want to get rich. It's absolutely predictable and very, very, very easy, as a matter of fact, if you do have the patience to wait and just keep building wealth slowly. Nobody want to get rich slowly, and that is the biggest problem, because getting rich slowly is actually very predictable. You just have to take a series of actions and be patient. 10, 20 years, you cannot go wrong, right? By buying 1 plot here, 2 plots there, and just waiting. That is land banking. Stress-free, very smart way to go about it. Property banking. Now, this came to my attention because there is a building that I know. So people have money, right? They come in and somebody's doing an off-plan sale, like this high-rise in Accra. For example, the Signature. Somebody came in and bought 10 units, right? 10 units off-plan sales tend to be a bit discounted because people are paying now to wait for a year or 2 years before they get their units. So off-plan sale is usually much cheaper than completed buildings. So the nearer they get to the completion, the more expensive it is. So some people come in extremely early, knowing the developers having their proven track record or whatnot. They know they really have nothing to worry about, but that's where the risk lies, because they are now starting. You have to wait for 3-4 years. Some people don't mind, and they will come in and they will buy 10, 20 units. People with money, and they will wait for this property to be done, and then they sell it for a much, much higher price. They didn't develop it, they didn't do anything, they just had the money, and they bought a place that they knew it was never going to go up. Like the Signature is only going to go up, right? It's at the heart of Accra, less than 5 minutes from the airport, and it's a beautiful building. Like, land is finite, right? Ghana is a small country, and the land places that's like within an hour from the airport, because everything is heavily concentrated in Accra, which makes it quite easier to predict where the value of land is going to go in Ghana. Much easier than other countries that at least have like developed places all over. Ghana, everything is heavily concentrated in Accra, and maybe Kumasi is good, but everything is basically in Accra. Accra is where everything is happening. That's where people want to be. So if you're acquiring land within an hour away from the airport, anywhere around there, best believe that you're going to become rich in the long run. That is property and land banking for you. Now, another thing that you could do is, become a renter, right? So if you don't live in Ghana, this is what's for you. Airbnb and becoming a renter. You buy a unit like at a place like the Signature, or you build a unit at a strategic place, you rent it out, you take your yearly rent or 6 months rent or whatever it is, predictable, no stress. You could be in the West, work, and the property gonna appreciate in value. Rent is inevitably gonna keep going up over time, and you can become extremely rich through that. You can also buy the unit, right, and then use it for Airbnb, or you could build a unit, use it for Airbnb. All of that, that's rental. You have to be on the ground, or if you are not on the ground, you have a vast network, and you can partner with somebody like me where you bring me clientele, and you are essentially a broker. I give you a small percentage, 5%, 3%, whatever it is, based on the amount of work you do, and you are essentially a broker. You could do that remotely by knowing people and you connecting those people to legit people in Ghana that are selling land that offer, commissions, and you can get something while you are out there. And if you're on the ground, you could do exactly the same, right? You could actually be heavily involved. I do a couple of deals. I do deals with established companies that want me to, come in, of course, analyze their paperwork and stuff like that, because I don't take on stuff that I have not heavily investigated. Look into it, make sure that it's good for my clients, and I partner with them. I do the sales, and I get a nice cut. I also take on land from, royal families. That one is a bit different. I literally take it on at a price, and I resell it on my own price, pay them beforehand, and all that, right? Whole bunch of those that go in. So this is all about networking and having a nice, network of people that you can tap into to lead them to the right land sellers. So these are some ways that you can make money in Ghana in the real estate space. It is not hard at all. The hardest part is not being scammed. That's where you need to analyze and risk versus reward, because there's a lot of scams in Ghana. The real estate space offers a high return on capital, right? Because if you're able to go through it, also dealing with artisans down here is not a joke. So it's a bit stressful for a developer or somebody to, erect a building and put it up and it's beautiful finish and all that. That person has been through a lot. So they tend to put all their pain in the price, and sometimes it's ridiculous. So to me, the Ghana real estate space is absolutely lucrative. It's up to you, the individual, to do your due diligence. I kept emphasizing that. That's where the risk lies. As far as making money in the real estate space in Ghana, it's extremely easy. People become massively rich in the real estate space. The real estate space is one of the spaces in Ghana that sucks in a lot of money from outside in. We all want to buy a house. We all want to come on vacation here. All of that is going in the real estate space. The outside money is coming in. The dollars is coming in the real estate space. People are buying land. It's all coming in the real estate space, right? So real estate in Ghana is something that you absolutely need to get into. Get land for yourself, just for either you could choose to do something with it later on, or just sitting on it. Like my situation, when I bought my land for my house, I had no intentions of doing whatever on it. I didn't know I was moving to Ghana or whatever. But when I decided to move to Ghana, I didn't have to go and look for land in the forest, because people have developed around me. When I came, I had a neighbor to my left and a neighbor to my right, water and electricity. 4 years ago, before I moved in, I didn't have any of that here. So just buying that land while it's cheap in a place that's up and coming and just waiting, you can easily turn around, resell it, because you don't want to do anything on it, or you never know, right? You absolutely never know. You don't want a situation where something hits the fan or whatever it is. My situation didn't hit the fan, but I decided to come to Ghana, and I'm struggling to find land where people live, because you can't isolate yourself like that. And where people live is actually expensive, right? Because people are doing land bank and people are reselling their land, and it's marked up. It's expensive. You cannot afford that. You can avoid all of that. You can get land for less than $5,000, dollars. A lot of places in Ghana, less than an hour to the airport. And if you don't know how to find that land, or you like my stuff and you want to buy land from me, the link is in the description below. Just reach out to me. Afenya, Pram Pram. All of those lands is around $5,000, and you can buy that and hold on to it. So if you've not subscribed to the channel already, I hope this video really helped you, kind of got you thinking. Like the video, it helps with the algorithm, and subscribe, guys. As I provide a lot of value to you guys. This knowledge that I just gave you guys is worth $10,000 in consultation fees. Make use of it. And until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.